you're welcome to the channel and thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe and also hit on the notification bell. It's really very important. Thank you.
Half of our people here are below 20 years old. Yes? Look at the average age of our presidents. It's about 63, 64 years old. We're the only continent in the world where we have presidents at 90 years old starting new terms. I mean, you guys are crazy or what? We've seen people in wheelchairs, you know, unable to raise hands to standing for elections. This is a joke. Yes, you are right to laugh because the whole world is laughing at us. Yeah, I always say, I mean, you look around you. You look, United States, an economy of 15, 16 trillion dollars. We, all of Africa, are less than $1 trillion. This is a 15, 16 trillion dollar economy, right? The most important country in the world, like it or not. Obama, which happened to be half African anyway, became president when he's 46, 47 years old. He's president. If Obama was in Kenya, what he will be doing now? He will be driving a bus maybe. Yeah? You look, really, and he's not the youngest president. Clinton was younger than him. Clinton became president at 46 years old. Kennedy was 40 years old, 40 odd subsequent years old when he became president. Why these big countries, much bigger than us, entrust their economies, their nuclear weapons, their oil resources to people who are in their 40s? And we only pick up people at 90 years.
Don't you know this? Don't you? You already tell you we have problem with the friend that you
She said he has a problem because his friends came from China and they were escaping without completing their 14 days of self-quarantine. Yeah. They were running to DRC for work. Okay, let me talk to her. So now we arrested them at the border point in Zombo. They have been brought back. Okay, let me talk to her. Talk to him.
What next after arresting these people?
Thank you so much. Right here in Chibuli CID headquarters, I am in the company of security personnel together with the RDC of Zombo district. As we all know, the government of Uganda has put very clear guidelines for self-mandatory isolation. And we've got a group of nationals from China, the Chinese nationals, who came into the country and they started very well with self-isolation. But along the way, they violated the principles of self-isolation and they were actually intercepted at the border crossing into Congo. That is along Zombo in Goli border. And they have been brought back under the directive of His Excellency the President. And the President gave a directive that these people should be produced in the courts of law, because we have very clear policy and the laws of this country, put into us consideration the Public Health Act, which has been subjected into all this happening into our country. And as we can see clearly, these nationals has violated the principles that have been put to keep our people safe and away from risk. So they will be produced in courts of law here in High Court, in Nakawa High Court, so that the law takes its course and they are persecuted according to what will be found.
We've had reports that these Chinese nationals were in the company of other Ugandans. Why these Ugandans?
We've got 4 Chinese nationals and 2 Ugandan nationals, and they've hired the taxi from the Ugandan nationals, a driver and a wife, who is taking these people all the way from Kampala up to Zombo. And right here, they have been brought back. They are going to stay in a very safe place, After that, they will be produced to courts of law. This is going to set signal to the people of this country, most especially those who are under mandatory quarantine. The president of this country has made it very clear this is a war that he's spearheading, and he's really heading it with a tough directive to this country. So anybody who will be found to violate the principles of mandatory, the law is going to deal with it.
Kajoingi Andrew is in my name, Resident District Commissioner Zombo. On the 10th of this month at around, on the 20th of this month at around 11 a.m., I got a telephone call from my security operatives at the border entry point called Padea in the Zombo district, that there were 6 Chinese who were from Kampala. They wanted to cross to Congo. Given the sensitivity of the coronavirus, I told my security operatives to hold the 6 Chinese and the 2 Ugandans, to give me time to cross-check with the Migrations Office in Entebbe and the Ministry of Health. Indeed, I started with the Migrations Office. When they checked the records, they told me these people entered Uganda on the 10th, and they were put on self-quarantine in Kibuli African Hotel. Self-quarantine should have taken 14 days, which will elapse up to tomorrow. So they will be officially allowed to move on the 25th. But on the 10th day, they violated the 14 days given, which was on the 20th, they decided to go. Actually, they sneaked out of the area of confinement. So on getting this information from immigration, I called the Ministry of Health, particularly Honorable Joyce Mori Kukaduch, the State Minister for Primary Health Care, to seek a sense of direction. She also consulted the father, and the directive which came is that these Chinese be brought back to Kampala for violating the Ministry of Health procedure.
As I talk about the measures, allow me thank the security personnel of this country. So far, they have demonstrated the ability of being vigilant, being very alert, and to ensure that the Ugandans are safe. This is one of the great jobs that they have done, to ensure that foreigners who wish to escape before their mandatory days of isolation are intercepted at the border. Congratulations, and I give you a big credit. And I appeal to all Ugandans, let's be vigilant. Let's really watch out and ensure that people who are supposed to be isolated remain and completed their 14 mandatory days of self-isolation or institutional isolation. Now, it is very clear. The directives of the president is very clear, and we must follow. It's a must. All border points are going to be closed, and there are specific border points that will remain open for cargo trucks, and which cargo trucks we are going to have only 3 people: the driver, the turnboy, and other person. And at those border points, there is going to be healthcare professionals to screen these people. So I want to appeal to our people, let's stick to those directives, stay at home, and follow the directives of the ministry. Finally, my appeal is for the people who are under mandatory institutional quarantine. Please adhere to the game. It is for a short period of time to protect you, to protect our people, and to protect the country. Let's not escape. If you escape, the law will deal with you. I thank you.
So those are the videos, my people. It is well. Africa is really a joke. Yes, I understand that. But Nigeria is much more of a joke than Africa is, seriously. You know, we have a president who is in his 70s, okay? But then he behaves like someone who is in his 90s. He doesn't care. He doesn't even care to keep in touch with the realities of what is happening to the people he's supposed to be leading, not ruling. He barely cares about anybody, any freaking person. He barely empathizes with anybody. Now, let's take this coronavirus period, for example. There had to be lots of begging. There had to be lots of people clamoring online that he should address us, he should address us. Even when other presidents of other parts of the world were addressing their citizens, showing care, showing empathy, Uncle did not care about us. Rather, his media team would come out and say one thing, and then eventually, after all the clamorings by lots of people on the internet, he now eventually came out. Now, to show you that he's not in touch with the realities of what is happening in Nigeria, Uncle did not know the name COVID-19. He had to say COVID-19. Is that the kind of leader we want? That is why I said he behaves like someone in his 90s. He has no empathy at all. Let's take Kano again, for instance. Lots of people have been dying in Kano for whatever sickness it is. People say COVID, people say other sicknesses, but whatever it is, lots of people have been dying. 150 people died the first time, 20 again. Uncle is yet to address them. Nigeria has come to a place where we no longer say our president. Look at the Ugandan woman. She just kept on saying our president, my president, our president. But in Nigeria, we no longer say my president. We no longer say our president. What we say is our presidency. Why do we say presidency? Because we have an inactive president, a president who does not care about his citizens. So we now have to rope all of them in. We have to rope the president, the vice president, the cabal, his media team. We have to rope all of them in and call them the presidency, because we know that the president would only act when the members of his presidency would have pushed him and told him the realities of what is happening in Nigeria, the realities of what people are saying, cajoled him into talking to us before he would eventually talk. If he's someone who has empathy for his people, if he's someone who really cares about his people, we shouldn't be calling the presidency. We should call on the president. He should always address us at every single point in time. Yes, someone will now tell me, okay, addressing us, how does it solve the problem? Well, it goes ahead to solve the problem because it shows that this person has the interest of the citizens at heart. It shows that this person empathizes with the citizens. You don't just keep mute like that and behave like nothing is happening. You really do not care. It doesn't help. But when you come out and talk and you show your people that you care, that whatever it is they are feeling, you're also feeling it. You're wearing the same shoe as they wear. You're empathizing with them. Nigerians would complain less. It is really well. Nigeria is more of a joke than Africa is, seriously. Now look at the way the Ugandans turned down these Chinese people and are trying to arresting them. Can Nigeria ever do like that? Can the Nigerian authorities ever arrest the Chinese people? No matter the maltreatment they met out to us, both in their country and even in our own country, Nigeria, Nigerians will never do that. The Nigerian authority will never do it. Why would they even do it when the Nigerian authority would take the foreigners as first-class citizens before the major citizens, the owners of the country? It is never done in any part of the world. In any part of the world where you go to, the citizens of the country are the first-hand citizens before the foreigners. But in Nigeria, it's the other way around. No matter how much maltreatment Chinese people or other foreigners, the other time is Chinese, if it's not Chinese, it's Lebanese, no matter the maltreatment they give to Nigerians, even in our own country, Nigeria, it is more like the support still goes to them, the foreigners, than it is to we Nigerians. We've always been treated as the second class. Nigerian authority would be the last people that would arrest a foreigner, talk more of a Chinese person, no matter the ill treatment. It is really well. Most times when we say these things, we say with a very heavy heart because that is the reality of Nigeria as at now. And we just hope that someday a positive change would happen. Someday. We'll keep hoping, we'll keep praying that someday positive change would happen. Anyway, guys, please feel free to share your opinions in the comment section. I like to read from you guys as well. And if you like to keep receiving updates from us, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Please. And also hit on the notification bell. Like and share the video. And thank you so very much for watching. Bye-bye.